Welcome to the JAMODI Podcast. We are all surrounded by amazing coaches and leaders. So let's get an inside look at not just what they do, but how they do what they do. After all, becoming the best versions of ourselves is JAMODI, just a matter of doing it.
The JAMODI Podcast is powered by Sideline Interactive. Sideline Interactive is the leading manufacturer for high-quality, innovative scoring tables and LED video display boards that help coaches and schools bring more excitement to fans, create huge fundraising opportunities, and make their jobs easier. Visit sidelineinteractive.com to check out their amazing products.
But I'd love to know a little bit about now. We just had, I think, a very serious talk that a lot of coaches are thinking about, and they're going through these situations now. Change the view of your program, and what's one thing that makes your program different?
Like, we really truly invest in being connected with, one, what we do, two, connected in our players' lives. Like, I'm serious about knowing who their trainers are and building a relationship with them, who their parents are, whether they're together or divorced. Anybody that has that kid's ear, like, the one thing that I can say we do different is we make a connection between, like, our kids' basketball life at our school and then, what his life looks like away. And we try to blend and connect the two. And man, we're intentional about it. We're intentional about, we're going to go watch our kids play. And even if it's bad basketball, whatever you want to say, I hear coaches say, I don't have time to go watch every one of my kids play. Man, we're going to invest in going to spend some time, because I think that's truly important. But our ability to invest in each other, selling each other on caring about each other, like our kids hang around. We're intentional on being purposeful about our kids eating lunch together. Not that we want to exclude ourselves from the high school experience, but we're just real big on building a closeness within our basketball program. I think that will help with kids leaving, because now they're just not leaving an opportunity to play basketball. They're leaving a friend. And sometimes that makes it a little bit tough to do. So our program is based on players. We listen to our players. My coaches think I'm crazy. I tell them this story. I got to Legacy. I was at Mansfield Legacy maybe 6 or 7 years ago. I can't remember exactly, but I get there. And we hadn't been very good when I first got there. So I spent a year. I tell people this story, me and Coach Pritchett. Coach Pritchett's over at Summit. We get there the same year, and we go 1-15, both of us in district. I beat him, he beats us. That's our only district win. And you look 4 or 5 years later, both of us have been really lucky and somewhat successful. Him, he actually won a state championship. But I remember my second year, we get to the playoffs, and I'm just grinding it out. We got to the playoffs. We're having 2.5-hour practices. We got that week between our first playoff game. We're going 2 hours. I'm like, we got to the play. I'm killing them. And, we play a forward OD wide, and they just embarrass us. It's embarrassing. So we lose by about 18. So I'm distraught. School hadn't been to the playoffs in 5 or 6 years. And, man, I just took for granted how important it is to listen to what your players have to say. They've got so much information. So I bring my seniors in right before our banquet just to get some information, and it's unanimous. Coach, we were absolutely tired of basketball. We did not want to play anymore. And I'm like, wait a minute, we have a chance to go win state. Coach, we were just tired. Like we didn't want to be in there. And I noticed every time practice was over with, my kids would sprint out of the door, go get in their cars, and they're going home. And a lot of times we want to blame our kids. Oh, they don't love it. So it changed me. So now, we get to January and February and people think I'm crazy. We practice an hour no matter what. There are some days we have our kids take off their shoes and socks and come in, and we just walk through, and my coach is like, wow. I'm like, well, if they don't have the shoes on, I'm not going to make them do a whole lot. And we're walking through, we're doing yoga, we're doing our scout. Well, now, the last 4 or 5 years, we've had more success than we've had. But our kids, when it's time to go home, they don't leave anymore. They're actually staying around and they're shooting, and they want to be there. And I just noticed we're better now later. So I say that to say, man, just listening to your players, man, I think and it being player-led genuinely. Like, I really listen to them. I think that's, and I know I went on and on, but like, I think
No, it's
that's
good.
one of the things that separates us is like, I'm truly not the CEO, or maybe I am, but I'm not the king. Uh, Man, everybody has input in our program. I don't mind our parents have input. I don't mind your uncle have input. I'm not saying I'm going to use it, but I'm okay with listening to it because sometimes you can learn from the band director. You can learn from the football coach. My job as a coach is to be the best coach I can be. And sometimes I need help from other people. And I think that separates us, man. I invest in our players, but I also want our players to invest in the program themselves. So I think that's one thing that's just a little bit different than most people. I really take information from, you can ask the guys that have worked with me, I'll take it from everybody. Man, I would sit and talk to the choir teacher. Like, tell me man, you're on social media. Like, what are you doing? How are you getting so many people out for, I watch our band. They're out in the summer in the cement all day long.
Yeah.
How are you,
Yeah.
how are you getting a kid to want to spend his summer walking around in full uniform in the heat? Like, that's something. Like, what are you doing? So I want to know. So I'm just really big. Our program's different because we take information from everyone, and we may or may not use it, but we're willing to take it from everyone. And our players know it. Sometimes our parents abuse it. They got too much, but I listen because I truly believe it's not my program. It's our program, and I'm serious about it. So I know you asked me a question, and I just, I know I always have a lot to say. My players do, but I'm really big on just taking as much information from as many people as I can. And I write it, I use it, and what I can use, I use, and what I don't feel I can use, I don't use, or maybe I can use it later. But I think that's different, man. We take it and we're okay with it, and we try to put the best product we can on the floor.
Just don't apologize for going into great detail about things you're passionate about because
Look,
the tagline to this whole idea with the podcast is it's not what you do, but how you do what you do. That's really important. And so you could tell me, yeah, we're really intentional, about connecting to our players in all their areas. And then there'd just be dead space and I have to figure out or try to pull out, okay, well, what do you mean by that? Right. But
well,
so I thought you went into great detail about that. And man, I jotted down a lot of notes. And so I want to make sure I hit some things here. I had written down before in your first point about embracing it I wrote down AAU and high school coaches together. I
yeah,
think the more that as a high school coach, we can bridge that gap, I think it needs to be us extending that handshake rather than waiting for them to extend the handshake to us. And when I was coaching with Darren Williams
yeah,
Elite, I wanted to make sure that, and that which doesn't exist anymore, but it was fun. I wanted to make sure that I emailed my players, high school coaches, to introduce myself and connect because I was also doing that. I don't think that that's what that happens a lot, right? But I was in both worlds
yeah.
like you. And so, but I can remember as a younger coach at Naaman Forest telling my players that, listen, all right, we got to work out today, and we have so many bad habits that you created from select ball that I need to fix. I really put us against each other, and then
So,
ultimately, I know I was an idiot, and ultimately, what puts who's in the middle is the player, and so then I wrote down stakeholders because you mentioned a lot of people that we need to listen to. We need to listen to the select coach. We need to listen to the trainer. We need to listen to the parents. We need to listen to all those people that, for that player, are the stakeholders involved in their lives. We need to try to get all of us on the same page. And then you nailed it too. Sometimes parents are going to abuse that, but you know what? They have the right to. It's their son. Like, it's the most important person in their life. And so for us to say, like, listen, some things are off limits. Okay, then right then you've put up a wall that your players and parents maybe won't be able to get over. And then there's space and there's there's an issue between the two. Man, invite those conversations. And sometimes, I don't know, I bet you feel the same way. I think parents just want to be heard. We don't have
that's
to
what
agree
it
with
is.
them. We don't have to do what they say, but they want to get their point across. And then you learn a lot by what
Oh,
they say. okay, like this parent, they have a really good perspective. Like I appreciate that. And that might actually help me when communicating with their son. This parent, they are out of it. They have no idea what they're talking about, but I'm glad that they had the opportunity to share. And so I think that's really good. And then one more thing, and then I'll kind of throw the ball back to you is let's make our programs the place that's really hard to leave. If they're going to leave, if there's an opportunity for them to leave and go somewhere, we want that to be one of the most grueling decisions that they've ever had to make because we've made this the place to be. How do you make it the place to be? You make it about relationships and you make it about development in their skill and development, most importantly, as them as a human being. Coach, I think that's how we combat it because we can't combat the half days. We can't combat the travel to Las Vegas like Ali at Midway High School in Waco. We're not leaving. We're going to Dallas, Fort Worth, and Austin. Like that's as far as we're traveling. And I'm pretty happy about that. But man, we're going to invest and we're going to give our very, very best and let's make it a hard place to leave.
Thank you for checking out today's episode. Please take a moment to subscribe to this podcast, share it with your fellow coaches, and find us on social media for what's coming up next on the JAMODI Podcast. It's just a matter of doing it.